Please help me give a warm welcome to Ms. Tammy Tibbetts.
Thank you. Wow, I am beyond honored to enter your lives at this momentous moment that you've worked so hard for the past several years. It's especially meaningful to me because I myself am a product of higher education in New Jersey, and I'm the first in my family to graduate from college. I went to the College of New Jersey. So I feel like you're my people here in New Jersey. I really love speaking to high school and college students more than anyone else, and that's for two reasons. One, She's the First is an organization and a movement that's powered by students. We have campus chapters across the country students who have organized cupcake bake sales and 5Ks, and dollar by dollar have raised thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars collectively to send 450 girls to school across 10 countries. And those girls will be the first in their family to graduate from high school, to even be literate. And when I look out at the 400 some of you, in you I see their dream of being high school graduates and then even college graduates after that. So you're living the dream of every She's the First scholar, and I commend you for being their role models. I also love speaking to high school and college students because who I was in high school and college probably had the most influence over who I am today. And that's for two different reasons. When I went to South Brunswick High School, if any of you are from my hometown, and I did everything. It's what I didn't do in high school that defines me, and it's what I did do in college. So most people are surprised when I tell them I was voted most shy in my high school yearbook. You know how they do the senior superlatives. And because now I do public speaking all the time, and it doesn't make me nervous at all. But this would have been my worst nightmare when I was 17 or 18 years old. That moment when the 900 some kids I went to high school with voted me most shy was such a wake-up call. I was a really good student, honors student, like near perfect GPA, but I didn't raise my hand in the classroom because I was too afraid, let alone speak as an activist for any cause that I cared about. And I knew that had to change when I went to college, that I didn't want my legacy to be that I was afraid of the judgment of other people, and that I lived in the US as a woman, and I had all the freedoms to express myself when women around the world could be killed for doing just that. I was a good writer, so I decided that I would major in journalism, because I didn't know what my message was to the world, but I knew that there were a lot of strong women out there who had causes that needed attention and needed a spotlight. So I figured that I could change the world by writing about them. When I went to college, that was the moment that I built the identity that I wanted to have as an adult in this world. And my dream then was to become a magazine editor in New York City. So I majored in journalism. I had internships at various magazines. But it was something that happened when I was pretty much exactly where you are in your life right now. Right before I was about to graduate from college, I had one last assignment to do. It was an independent study, and I was allowed to report on any story that I wanted and do an in-depth sort of interactive feature about it. The story I chose was about a woman who was an alumna of the College of New Jersey, and she was a refugee of the Liberian Civil War. So when she was a teenager, she escaped and landed in New Jersey, got a scholarship to go to TCNJ, and then after she graduated and moved to New York City to start her career, at that point the war had ended and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was and is the president, first female president in all of Africa. And she decided she would start a NGO, a nonprofit that would send abandoned children and orphan children to school. And she was even building the first tuition school in Liberia. So I thought that this was such an inspiring and fascinating story. After my internships at magazines in the city, I would go to her office and interview her. And of course, around this time of year, I finished the story, I turned it in, I got an A. But it was the first story that I had done as a student journalist that I couldn't just publish, file, and walk away from. After I had done all this research, I saw for the first time statistics that you may already know if you've seen Girl Rising or read Half the Sky or A Path Appears by Nicholas Kristof and Cheryl Wooden, or just Malala's book. There's so much more awareness for girls' education now than there was in 2007, which I'm very grateful for. But this was the first time that I learned that there were 63 million girls out of school around the world, and that something that I was about to do, like you are, graduate from college, was something that the vast majority of the world will never even have access to. So after I graduated, I decided that I was going to volunteer for this foundation, and I would try to be a part of helping this woman achieve her vision. Meanwhile, I reached my own dream of getting a job in magazines, and right out of college, I started working at Hearst for 17 magazine and its websites, which was quite ironic because I was so uncool in high school that I didn't even read 17 magazine. But that was, as you heard in the introduction, my life was this, it was so different. In the daytime, I would be working in this glass tower, helping girls, prepare for their prom. And then by weekends and nights, I was helping this woman who had no staff build a sponsorship program, donors to these students in need. And on my vacation time, I went to Liberia, and that was the first time I had traveled to a low-income country. And I got to meet these girls and see how, by being in the classroom, they were able to break the cycle, when they graduated, to break the cycle of poverty in their families. And it was the true game changer. So one of the messages I want to leave you with today is how, you're thinking a lot at this crossroads in your life about the dreams that you have. And I would not be surprised if each and every one of you has a dream to change the world. I didn't know how I was going to change the world. She's the First, starting a nonprofit, was not in the cards for me when I was about to graduate. What I wanted to do was simply to tell stories. And along the same time, social media started blowing up, and I think that's what's so exciting about our generation, is that our voices are more powerful than ever before, and you can never underestimate the influence you have over everyone in your network, your friends and your family. And even though you can't write the big checks yet that the president is so eager for you to write, you can collect small contributions for whatever cause you care about and truly change people's minds as global citizens. What I've learned in the process of pursuing one of my dreams, another dream found me, and that was She's the First. So how that happened was, as I became passionate about girls' education and believing that this was the catalyst for solving so many of the problems in the world, I didn't intend to start a nonprofit. I don't think it's necessary to start a nonprofit to change the world. I think it's necessary to get your message out there. And for me, I did that in the form of a YouTube video that encouraged my peers to get their friends together to sponsor a girl. And you never know when you put an idea out into the world if it's going to become a part of a larger existing organization or if it's going to start something that doesn't exist yet. And the latter case is what happened to me. So in 2009, there was still a void of giving people our age and even younger the steps that they could take to directly change a girl's life. So we ended up partnering with schools around the world. Now there's 10 in our network that were in need of sponsors, and we found that it was so easy to activate young people to be a support system for those girls and to create one-to-one connections that would truly motivate the girls to graduate, but also motivate the students like yourselves who are involved to let nothing stand in their way as well. So if there's one piece of advice that that I could leave you with as you go into your graduation ceremony in just a few weeks and into your first jobs, it's that be open-minded and always curious. Whether you're going into journalism like I did or not, I think we all can have an inner journalist in us. Because really what that is lifelong curiosity and asking questions. And no matter what goal you're pursuing, make sure you don't have blinders on. And be open to a dream that is bigger than you could even try to imagine for yourself. Be open to that dream finding you. She's the first, really. I could have never thought that a simple idea of hitting upload on YouTube would lead into this global movement that has now connected me to 125 campuses across the country, 10 schools around the world, and those 450 girls that I told you about. For me, what was important, as I said, was using my social media networks to tell the story and to raise awareness. You can never underestimate the power of that. Also, embracing the power of your peers, and staying in touch with each other, and as you go into your new careers, other young professionals. It's a competitive time, when you're trying to get a job, but I think there are people who see it as competition, and there are people who see it as camaraderie. And if you can embrace the idea that when you support each other, all ships rise, you will go very far. Because I will tell you that the friends that I made when I was starting out, entry level, not knowing anyone, fast forward 8 years, we're all pretty successful, and I can turn to them to really help channel resources into She's the First. And finally, one of the themes that I think is important for you to embrace as you're pursuing your dreams is that this very moment is a dream come true for so many people. Your parents, for one, all of the professors and the faculty members here at Kean, this is their dream, to see you reach this milestone and go out into the world with all the knowledge that you've gained here, and to turn it into opportunities not only for yourselves, but for others. And I've been so impressed to learn about how service has been instilled in you throughout your time here at Kean. And I am so hopeful of what the next several years will bring. And it's been about 8 years since I graduated from college now. And so you can see how much has happened. So I just know big things are in store for you. And I wish you all the best. And that you will continue to have, if you are the first in your family to graduate, I want to especially acknowledge you, because you know that firsts are very important to me. But all of you have the opportunity to be trailblazers and do something that has never been done before. And I wish you the best of luck in that journey. Thank you.